John was a simple man who always dreamed of seeing the future. He had heard tales of flying cars, smart cities, and space tourism. One evening, he found a mysterious time travel ticket on his doorstep. The ticket promised an incredible adventure to the future. He hesitated at first, unsure if it was real or a prank, but his curiosity outweighed his doubts. The next morning, he packed his backpack and went to the address on the ticket. It led him to an old, abandoned train station on the outskirts of the city. There was an ancient-looking time machine waiting, with an open door. A sign read, "Step inside for the ride of your life." He took a deep breath and entered the machine. The interior glowed with bright lights and strange sounds. He strapped himself in and pressed the only button on the control panel. Suddenly, the machine whirred to life, shaking violently. In an instant, everything around him blurred as time sped up. John watched centuries pass by in seconds through the window. The world outside transformed, buildings rising and falling in a blink. His heart raced with excitement and wonder. Then, with a sudden jolt, the machine stopped. He had arrived in the future. The door slid open, revealing a breathtaking scene. He stepped out into a city unlike anything he had ever imagined. The buildings were tall and sleek, made entirely of glass and metal. Drones buzzed overhead, delivering packages and transporting people. The streets were filled with people wearing futuristic clothing. Everyone seemed happy and at peace. Hovercars floated effortlessly above the ground. John marveled at the technology and beauty of the city. A friendly robot greeted him and offered a tour. "Welcome to Future City, John," the robot said with a smile. John couldn't believe the robot knew his name. He eagerly accepted the offer for the tour. The robot led him through the bustling streets. They passed parks where children played with virtual pets. In the sky, huge holograms displayed colorful advertisements. The building shimmered with solar panels and green energy. The air was fresh, clean, and free of pollution. John was amazed by how advanced everything was. "Is this real?" he asked the robot. "Everything you see is real, John," the robot replied. They arrived at a stunning viewpoint overlooking the city. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the futuristic skyline. John felt a sense of awe and wonder. "This is more beautiful than I ever imagined," he said. The robot nodded and smiled. "The future is a place of endless possibilities," it said. John realized this was a moment he would never forget. They continued the tour, visiting incredible landmarks. The first stop was the spaceport, where rockets launched into the stars. "Tourists from all over the galaxy come here," the robot explained. John watched as a spaceship took off into the sky. "One day, I want to travel into space," he said. "You can book a ticket right now," the robot replied. John laughed but was tempted by the offer. Next, they visited the solar gardens, where plants thrived in artificial sunlight. The flowers were unlike anything John had ever seen, glowing in vibrant colors. The garden was peaceful and John felt a deep sense of calm. "Nature and technology work together here," the robot said. After the garden, they visited a towering skyscraper. It was the Future Museum, dedicated to human achievements. Inside, John saw artifacts from the past and futuristic inventions. One display showed how humanity had overcome challenges like climate change. "People in the future truly care for the planet," John said. The robot nodded in agreement. As they left the museum, John felt inspired. "How do people stay motivated to keep improving?" he asked. "The key to the future is innovation and hope," the robot explained. "Every day is a chance to make a difference." John's heart swelled with motivation. He realized the future wasn't just about technology, it was about progress. I want to be part of this future, he said. You already are, the robot replied with a smile. They finished the tour at the city center. There, a grand festival was happening. People from all over the world gathered to celebrate unity and innovation. Music filled the air and bright lights illuminated the night sky. John felt a deep sense of joy and connection with everyone. This is the future I always dreamed of, he thought. The robot turned to him. It's time for you to return, John. John's heart sank a little, but he knew it was true. The time machine was waiting for him at the station. Will I ever come back? John asked. The future is always open to you, the robot said. John smiled and stepped back into the time machine. As the door closed, he took one last look at the incredible city. The machine powered up, and in a flash, he was back in his own time. John stood in the old train station, feeling different. The experience had changed him. He knew the future wasn't something to fear, but something to embrace. John walked out of the station, feeling hopeful and inspired. The world around him seemed brighter, full of possibility. He promised himself to work toward a better future, starting today. His dreams of the future had given him a new purpose. The future begins now, John whispered to himself. As he walked home, he knew his life would never be the same. The adventure to the future had shown him what was possible. He was no longer just a dreamer, he was ready to build the future. With hope in his heart and a clear vision, John embraced the journey ahead. The future was his to shape, and he was excited for the adventure.